How is this possible to get ahead being accountable and gracious gratitude? Like bullshit. None of these billionaires are this way. They're assholes.
Yeah,
except you.
No, I don't think Warren Buffett's an asshole.
Fair. I can't name the names of the ones I think are.
I think that, you know what it comes down to? It's rubbernecking. When you drive on the highway and nothing goes wrong, it doesn't even register.
Yeah.
When an accident happens, it does. Sharks don't bite people that often, but we feel like they do. What our society is predicated on is paying attention, and I love how you're reacting. Like, I actually think this argument, this debate, this conversation is quite fascinating, because I think I just really appreciated the way you just kind of nodded your head. Like, there's things that popular culture believes that is just the way it became in belief, but oftentimes the data doesn't support it. You and I know tons of people who have not done well in business because they were too soft, but passiveness and kindness are two different words. We also both know, you and I, people who've made money by being bad short-term, but I will tell you that I know so many people that have made money, quote unquote, business success. And I know a lot of them that are completely miserable, aren't fulfilled, don't have great relationships, are skittish, don't trust because they themselves have done the wrong thing. And I know people who've made money and have had business success who've done it in a kind way. And remember, and you'll love this, this will really resonate with you. We have to be very careful. In sports, right? It's okay to go very hard, compete very hard, throw a little bit of an elbow, trip somebody. But after the game, this drives me crazy. Yeah, as a fan, and that's a fanatic, I get pissed when my Jets lose by 20 points. And then after the game, they're exchanging jerseys and they're hugging and they're asking how the family is. And I'm pissed because I'm a fan. But in real life, even though they've been beating each other's heads in, they're able to transition when the clock hits 000 and act human. I would argue that a lot of people in business blame businesses for just playing hard business. And they decide that they're bad people, even though they're just competing. And there's you see where I'm going? And there's a difference.
I do absolutely see where you're going. Okay.
If you're Goliath, let there be no confusion. Every Goliath was a David. All of them.
Okay.
McDonald's, Google, Nike, all of them. No business that we would say, Amazon, they're evil. Amazon started as a little piece of shit in a garage. And guess what? Barnes and Nobles and Borders, because I was there, did all sorts of things to stop Bezos. They threatened publishers. Yeah, see, this is where it gets really, I love this.
Evil. That's evil, though. That's totally.
I would argue.
It's totally contradictory to these traits.
No, what I would say is this. For me, I think that too many people think zero-sum game in business. So, for example,
way too many. That's
way
for
too
sure.
many, right?
Yeah.
I know a ton of bookstores with physical locations that are actually doing extremely well because the owners are innovating, whether it's coffee shop integration, whether it's community, whether it's subscription. We have the most ultimate, quote unquote, big business in Amazon that makes it ridiculous for anyone to consider to buy a book, to buy any other way than that. I guess where I'm coming from is I, for example, love competing, but I've never taken anything that any business has done to me personally, because not that it's business is business, it's actually empathy in that most people don't live in the same frame that I do, which is the world is abundant. And so because of that, they feel like this pitch, they're gonna try to undermine me because the money's on the line. Or this wine store was nasty to me because they didn't like that I was getting more customers. When I started advertising nationally, my dad's wine store, I was taking wine business away from Brown Derby in St. Louis, Wine Club in California, Specs in Houston. It wasn't that I wanted to hurt them, nor did I think it was gonna quote unquote put them out of business. Believe it or not, and this is very real to me, almost no big business I know spends its time being despisingly serious about trying to put people out of business. They're normally on the concept of trying to build their business.
That's you though.
No,
so
it's not
okay,
me.
so here's my question then, right?
Please.
So you mentioned Barnes and Noble,
Yeah.
and the other one, Borders,
Yep.
went after Bezos. Okay, so then how does 12 and a half?
Yeah.
How would 12 and a half have handled Bezos if they were Barnes and Noble?
They would have said, this internet thing is real. Let's go on the offense on the internet. And so that's my point, that Barnes and Nobles and Bezos, and Borders lost because they thought they could play politics with the publishers instead of the world is abundant and maybe that entrepreneur over there in Seattle is gonna do something, but that's irrelevant to us. But in a weird way, let's even cheer for him because the addressable market's enormous, and let's actually respect him instead of shit on him and politic him, learn from watching his behavior from afar, which may lead for us to be more innovative, right? And so, and there's also hypocrisy, right? Everybody's mad at Amazon today. Amazon dented Walmart. Everybody hated Walmart 20 years ago. Before that, everybody hated Sears and Kmart and Caldor. It's the same old game. Now we're going very macro. Here's my point of view for the book and what I really wrote it for. Forget about the big business stuff for a second. Every person listening right now, whether employee, middle manager, or owner, would be stunned, I believe, if they disproportionately over-indexed it in optimism and karma in business. I actually believe that. I'll give you an example, Jen, back to your point, me and my partner always work. For example, if you don't spend any time worrying a bit about the big bad billionaire doing something bad, that 2 hours of energy is actually spent on offense on the consumer.
We say that all the time. We feel like we have to spend so much time playing defense, but do you not have to play defense then?
I would say it looks a little bit like this. There's a very famous basketball team from the late 80s and 90s, and this is in some way maybe the argument I'm making. Late 80s, early 90s, called Loyola Marymount. And they got very famous because they had a very big tragedy in 1989-90 where Hank Gathers, it became national news, passed on the court.
Oh, God.
He had a heart condition. And it was really sad and it kind of caught national attention. But the other thing they were known for is as a college basketball team, they were winning games 147 to 132. And it was wild. It was run and shoot. It was just a totally different, and in a lot of ways, similar to the basketball we know today. Threes and offense and quick and get the shot up and run the people out of the gym. And so I think about business that way. Yes, I think there's some level of awareness that needs to be done of what's going on, but I'll give you an example. This is the first time I remember using this analogy, but it hit me hard.
I'm ready.
It's good to be a human being to be aware when you're walking in the street at 11 p.m. at night. It's good to be aware. It's not good to always think that you're gonna get kidnapped at every second of your life.
Yeah, I understand.
Fear is the worst. It's the second most powerful thing in the universe. Awareness and understanding your surroundings is thoughtful. And I believe that that's my answer to your question. I wish I was a little bit more patient because I was so hungry to prove to the world that I was a winner because I was such a loser in school that I just worked every minute. I didn't, go to an extra keg party. I didn't, spend an extra, go away on the weekend and just do something different. I punted everything. It just went completely and utterly into, I'm gonna build businesses. This is who I am. And so, maybe I would have gone on the ski trips so I can be good at skiing now and into it. Maybe I would have rounded out some stuff. But the truth is, in a weird way, in the same way that I just talked to you about the last question, I don't know, it's all so good. If I could speak to my high school self, is that the way it's?
Yeah, I think that'd be.
If my high school self was sitting here, I'd be like, hey man, good news. It's gonna go well. It wasn't even better. I liked it then too. I was antsy and I wanted to everyone, like, and I'm still a little bit like that, but I was super happy. Like, I wasn't like some outcast. Like, my teachers and my friends' parents thought I was a loser, but all my friends loved me. So let's call it what it is. When you're 15, you don't give a shit about teachers and parents. You want your homies to think you're cool. So I was super happy. It was just that I had a chip on my shoulder because I'm like, I'm gonna be all-time great. I really believe this. I really believe it's the same way that Harrison Ford about his acting, or LeBron about his basketball, or some music, Whitney Houston about her singing. Like, I really think young Whitney Houston in 5th grade is sitting there and saying, because she's killing it at church, she's saying, nobody knows how great I'm really gonna be. Like, I literally felt that. I'm like, I can't wait for them to all really know. So there was a little bit of like I can't wait to have my coming out party. I was antsy for the coming out party. But I'd probably say like, hey man, it's all gonna work out great. And like just do everything you think you wanna do. Like, just follow your instincts, it's gonna be good.